Hi everybody. This video is going to try and explain how to program your calculator. So I know that this is probably going to be the one thing that you're going to be most interested in before the test, because it's going to help you avoid all those silly, cumbersome algebra and math mistakes that you can make and just kind of let you cruise right through the test. So I've made up this sheet that you can find on the wiki page. It's some instructions on how to do this, and in the back of it, as sort of an appendix, it has all of the equations that everybody has been calling me for and asking me for. I have a whole great big list of those all made up so that you can plug those into your calculator. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the programming. When you power up your calculator, you're going to notice this screen down here, and that's going to be where you want to start from. And we're all used to using this button here. Well, we're going to come over and start off with the solve one right here. So we're going to push that. Your screen's probably not going to look like this because I have a whole bunch of these equations in here already. But we're going to start off with a fairly simple one for expected returns. So at any rate, you're going to want to hit find and hit new. So there's new, and alright. Now we're ready to start programming our equations. Pretty cool. So this particular equation, as it calls out in my little handout there, it's going to be called XPRET, which is expected returns. And this is actually how it's calculated down here. Later on in the sheets, you'll notice that everything's kind of consolidated. I try to get step-by-step instructions here. But so the first thing you want to do is come up with your first variable. I typically use long names like XPRET and things like that, so because once you get a number of these in your calculator, it's hard to tell which one does what. So I give them a kind of a lengthy name to cue me in on what exactly this thing does. So let's go ahead and plug that in. These guys down here are your input keys. Think of this like a keyboard, okay? You got everything from A to Z up here. So we're going to use it just like a keyboard. So I need an E, so I'm going to hit that button there and find my E. And I need an X. And I'll find X right there. And then I need a P. So where's my P at? And then RET. R E and T. Now, I managed to get through that fairly flawlessly. However, if you did have trouble, if you need to back it up, you remember that little backspace key right there? You can go ahead and use that to delete. I'll put her back in there again. Or you can go ahead and hit your exit button here. And these guys are little scrollers. They'll scroll you back and forth. So you see that little cursor go back and forth. And if you put the cursor right over the top of one of them and you hit the delete, that's exactly what it's going to do. It's just going to make that thing disappear. To get back into our keyboard, hit alpha, and we're right back in, and we're programming. We're doing it up. So I'm going to put that T back in. Then I'm going to go ahead and make my equal sign by coming down here and hitting equal. So now we have an equal sign up there. And we're going to finish up the rest of our equation that's up here. And basically we want to make it look just like it does up in the sheets. So we're going to go ahead and put a parenthesis, and that was done by hitting that key right there. And we're going to type it out with a W, A, times. All these asterisks are times, so you're going to hit the times key for an asterisk. Times RA. I think that's RA. Again, my parenthesis down here. And then a plus. And another parenthesis. And W. B times. Where's R? R, B. So essentially my expected return equals the weight of investment A times the rate of investment A plus the weight of investment B times the rate of investment B. And when I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and hit the input key. So I will input the equation, and there it is. Now the last part of programming is basically verifying that your program works. The way we do that is we hit the calc button. You see it said verifying equation and went to 0. If it says invalid equation, and I'm going to go ahead back in here and I'm going to create one so you'll see one of those. I'll go ahead and you can also go back and edit them. So you hit your exit key, go into the edit functions, you see a scroll bars again. And I'm going to go to the end of the equation here. I'm going to delete that last parenthesis. That'll make it an invalid equation. And I want to go ahead and, if you forget to hit input and you hit exit, it's going to ask you to save. I want to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it verify it again. And it actually worked. So much for trying to break an equation. What can I do to break this thing? Okay, I know what I can do. Sorry, this is not professional work here. I'm just trying to get you through one of these. Okay, I am going to break it by removing the plus sign. By doing that, I remove an operator, so it should not work this next time. So I'm going to hit my input key, and it's inputted. And now when I hit that, invalid equation. What you want to pay attention to when it says invalid equation, see where that cursor ended up? There's obviously a problem around in this area here. So just take a look at that when you're programming, and if you get one of them, don't freak out. Just kind of look at your equation, make sure that it matches what the sheet says. Okay? No big deal. So I'm going to put back in my plus, and for safety's sake, I'm going to go ahead and put in that parenthesis there, and go ahead and input calc. Okay, we're all good to go. And you're really going to want to verify that, because there are instances in which your equation will compile or it'll verify correctly, but it might not work. So I'm going to encourage you all to program your calculators and use them on the problems that he's given out for homework. Verify your answers up against what he has posted. And if your answers are coming up the way that they should be, then you're good to go. So that's it for the easy equation. Let's move on to something a little bit more challenging.